An alien craft hurtling through space at 1,000,000 miles an hour crashes to Earth. Debris is scattered over a desolate landscape. The military moves in and retrieves the evidence, covering up their tracks. But this isn't a story about Roswell, New Mexico. It's a remote place called Height 611 in eastern Siberia. And Sightings is there to investigate. Many UFO sightings have occurred in clusters called flaps, and ufologists charge that military bases are the object of alien reconnaissance, especially bases where nuclear weapons are stored. In recent years, sightings have occurred near military installations in New Mexico, Nevada, and Florida. The U.S. military base in Bentwaters, England, a nuclear repository for NATO, was the site of a series of UFO sightings and power outages over several days in late December 1980. We are now learning these encounters are not limited to the West. A series of sightings over the Siberian cities of Vladivostok and Dolnogorsk have some convinced that extraterrestrial spies are surreptitiously observing military installations in the former Soviet Union. Vladivostok is home to the Russian fleet, including nuclear-powered submarines.
It is a place where UFOs are sighted very frequently and where similar phenomena occur.
Alexander Rempel is president of the Vladivostok Association of Ufologists. An engineer and former military officer, Rempel has amassed a catalog of local sightings.
This is a panoramic view of Vladivostok. In broad daylight, people suddenly saw a bright flash up in the sky, and this glowing sphere rose up. One passerby had a camera and shot this object.
This photograph of what appears to be a strange three-toed footprint was shot near a Vladivostok military installation.
The traces left by these unusual beings are found at the sites of well-guarded military units. This is where radioactive waste from Russia is kept.
A few miles away from Vladivostok, near the small mining town of Dolnogorsk, a UFO crashed on this hilltop in 1986. The site, known only by its height, Height 611, is littered with strange debris and is considered to be one of the most significant UFO locations in all of Russia.
The sphere was red, it was flying straight and then sharply fell down.
I saw a fire balloon fly from this site and fall there on this knoll.
After that, a fire started. It burned for 1 hour.
The first person to reach the scene was biologist and Academy of Sciences Meteorite Commission member Valery Duzhilny.
Something was burning. This could have been a meteorite, but meteorites do not cause fires. When I climbed up to this place, the snow was deep. There I saw a place which left a great impression on me. There was no snow, it just evaporated. I saw the remains of a burnt tree and the remains of metallic spheres.
Samples of charred metal gathered at the site attracted nationwide attention. Analysis was done by Russia's most prestigious academies.
Whatever remained at the site itself had such unusual properties.
Paul Stonehill, head of the Russian Ufology Research Center headquartered in the United States, has examined many of the samples from Height 611.
The mesh itself had something very strange, very unusual. Tiny filaments. And inside those filaments, quartz filaments, one could find yet other filaments or nettings, gold nettings, 7 microns thick. I mean, a human hair is 56 microns. Now, that we have no technology to insert gold filaments of that size into quartz filaments. What they could be used for remains an enigma.
It's an enigma that continues to draw serious attention from Russia's top scientific researchers.
Their Academy of Sciences has had an ongoing public study of UFOs since the 1970s.
George Knapp is an investigative journalist. He is frustrated by the seeming lack of interest in UFOs by American academics.
Here, the people like Carl Sagan say, you can't study UFOs, there's nothing to study, there's no physical evidence. Well, that's baloney, and the Russians are proving that. Their Academy of Sciences, the most respected scientific organization in that nation, has been studying it for decades. They do what scientists are supposed to do. They take samples, they conduct experiments, they dig in the soil, they check for radiation, and they've come up with some fairly amazing results.
In the case of samples collected by scientists at Height 611, the results are startling.
It could very well be physical evidence of an extraterrestrial origin. That was the conclusion of the initial scientific team that went to the site. There were strange alloys in there that couldn't be readily identified. Rare earth metals in combinations that have never been seen of a natural origin.
Here we can see the results of our tests. The sample contains elements such as lithium, nickel and some others, but most importantly, it contains the elements promethium. The element promethium is artificial, it cannot be found on the Earth.
Human subject testing also took place. In a controlled study, physicians and medical researchers examined those who had worked at Height 611 in the days following the UFO incident.
Samples of blood, blood pressure and pulse were taken. For the group that went to the top of Height 611, the number of red blood cells, the differential blood count was altered, and the amount of elements in the blood rose. In the meantime, the control group's blood tests stayed normal. I believe that either alien machinery or a spaceship fell down and crashed. I think that otherwise it cannot be explained.
Doctors and researchers inside Russia continue their investigation, while a handful of American experts are still having difficulty convincing our own scientists of the importance of Height 611.
Height 611 is extremely important to pay attention to. I'm glad that somebody actually went to that Height 611 and brought out the information, because the heights we could reach with that information are still unknown to us.
Our crew returned with this microscopic metal fragment entrusted to us by our Russian contacts. Analysis of this crucial bit of evidence will take many months. We'll bring you